Obviously, you've got your own people and your own agenda, but you interact with a larger organisation. So your objectives and your priorities, what is the engagement process you have with other parts of defence, of the state, for example, the works at Stirling to stand that whole facility up? What's your engagement, and are you happy that there's agreement across each of those interfaces to resource and meet the priorities that you have to achieve the outcomes that you're required to achieve?
So we have deep engagement, Senator, with obviously broader defence. The estate group, for instance, is responsible for the delivery of the infrastructure, specifically, if we use for an example, HMAS Stirling. So the government has committed to $1.5 billion in infrastructure works for HMAS Stirling in order to be ready for Surf West in 2027. We are the lead for that. We are accountable. But obviously we work deeply with SEG because they're the experts in delivery, and we sought not to replicate that. A similar example goes with the Chief of Navy. So Navy is responsible for providing the people for the submarines and the training. We set the requirements. I work with the Chief of Navy, Mark Hammond, on a daily basis, and Rebel Buckley in my team has a reporting line to the Chief of Navy to make sure that we are aligned at all times. We attend all the key committees, the Investment Committee, the Defence Committee, the Capability Manager steering groups there with Defence. I'm over at Russell probably 2 times a day, meeting with the Secretary, meeting with the CDF. Then there's the interactions we have with the other government agencies, Prime Minister and Cabinet, DFAT, Attorney Generals, part of the Nuclear Powered Submarine Task Force, which morphed into the Australian Submarine Agency, was a whole-of-government organisation, and we had embeds from all those agencies. We have standing embeds from the nuclear family of ANSTO and ARPANSA. I also chair a fortnightly meeting with the other nuclear agencies, ANSTO, ARPANSA, ARWA and ASNO. And that's just at the domestic level. We have Commonwealth, Western Australia steering groups that we go over and work with the state government on. I've seen Premier Malinakis in South Australia 13 times now. And then there is the trilateral aspects. So we have trilateral steering groups at the 2-star level, at the 3-star level. I hosted the last one in September here. I'm going back to the UK middle of the year for another one. We do VTCs almost every night, Senator. If you was to come into our building at Brindabella Park, you would constantly see people VTCing with their US and UK counterparts. So we have a multi-level layer of engagement, starting with defence, out through the other government agencies, then with the states, and then with our peer countries in the US and UK.
Sure. And I'm not surprised by that very long list of activity and meetings, etc. The thrust of my question, my whole focus in this place, is are we getting the outcomes we need? For example, one of the interlocutors that defence projects have is the Parliamentary Works Committee. I have spoken to project managers in the past who say, we have everything we need except approval from PwC. And the Parliament, and whilst I'm not decrying oversight of the Parliament over defence work, has in the past sometimes been a hold-up. So, we are not perfect. What I wanted to know is, with all of those interactions, are you happy that you're on track in terms of achieving the outcomes that you need to achieve, or are there things that this committee needs to be aware of and the Parliament needs to be working towards to help agitate, facilitate, to make sure that you can achieve your outcomes?
So I'm not going to understate the challenges ahead, but, Senator, to answer your question, yes, we are on track.
Okay.